In the waning years of the 21st century, Earth had become a shadow of its former self. Climate change had ravaged the planet, leaving vast swaths of land uninhabitable. Resources that once seemed inexhaustible were now scarce, leading to conflicts that further divided humanity. Societal structures crumbled under the weight of environmental and economic collapse, leaving billions in desperate conditions. Overcrowded refugee camps sprawled across what was once fertile land, their inhabitants gazing up at polluted skies, dreaming of escape from the barren landscapes that had claimed their homes. Amidst this despair, humanity's last hope was conceived, the starship Voyant. A marvel of engineering, the Voyant was designed for a mission unlike any other, a decades-long journey to Arcadia, a distant planet believed to be Earth-like and habitable. The mission was humanity's final gamble, a desperate attempt to find a new home among the stars. The crew of the Voyant was as diverse as the remnants of Earth they sought to leave behind. Captain Elena Vasquez, a seasoned astronaut with a steely resolve, had witnessed firsthand the decline of Earth. Her leadership would be crucial in navigating the uncertainties of space and the complexities of human dynamics aboard the ship. Dr. Liam Zhang, the mission's lead scientist, was driven by a relentless curiosity about the universe and a personal stake in finding a new beginning for his family, who remained in one of the overcrowded refugee camps. Maya Patel, the ship's chief engineer, had grown up in the shadow of environmental collapse. Her brilliance in robotics and life support systems, born from a lifetime of adapting to scarcity. Completing the core crew was Dr. Alexei Ivanov, a psychologist specializing in space travel's effects on the human psyche. His insights would be vital in maintaining the crew's mental health during their long isolation. As the Voyant prepared for launch, the deteriorating Earth served as a poignant backdrop. The ship itself was a beacon of hope, its sleek design and advanced technology standing in stark contrast to the world it was leaving behind. Equipped with state-of-the-art life support systems and guided by an artificial intelligence named Arcadia, the Voyant was ready to embark on its journey into the vastness of space. The launch of the starship Voyant was a spectacle witnessed by the remnants of Earth's population, their faces a mosaic of hope and despair. As the engines ignited, a deep, resonant thrum filled the air, a sound that seemed to echo the collective heartbeat of humanity. Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the command module, her eyes briefly closing as she felt the ship begin its ascent, the weight of their mission pressing down on her. Today, we carry the torch of humanity into the unknown, Captain Vasquez broadcasted over the ship's communication system, her voice steady and imbued with a solemn gravity. Remember, we are not just survivors, we are pioneers. Beside her, Dr. Liam Zhang watched the receding Earth through the viewport. The blue and green of the planet enveloped in swathes of gray cloud. "It's hard to believe we're leaving it all behind," he murmured, more to himself than to anyone else. Maya Patel, overhearing him as she checked the life support readouts, replied, "We're taking the hope of Earth with us, Dr. Zhang. It's a new beginning." Their exchange was cut short by Dr. Alexei Ivanov, who approached with a slight frown. "Let's hope our psychological training holds as strong as these engines," he said, half-jokingly, trying to lighten the mood. As the initial awe of departure faded, the reality of their new life aboard the Voyant began to set in. The ship, a marvel of technology, was also a confined space where personal boundaries were minimal, and privacy was a luxury. Routine became the backbone of their existence. Each morning started with a briefing led by Captain Vasquez, followed by various duties. Dr. Zhang and his team conducted experiments on the effects of prolonged space travel on human biology, while Maya Patel was often found in the engine room, her domain where she led her team in maintaining the ship's critical systems. The artificial intelligence Arcadia proved indispensable, managing daily operations and assisting with data analysis. "Aria, how are the energy readings today?" Maya would ask, her voice echoing slightly in the humming corridors of the engine room. "All systems operate within the optimal range, Engineer Patel," Arya would respond, its voice a calming presence. However, not all was smooth sailing. Friction arose, as it often does when diverse personalities are confined together. Dr. Ivanov found himself mediating more disputes than he had anticipated. One particular incident involved two scientists from Zhang's team arguing over the interpretation of genetic data. "We can't possibly conclude this with the current dataset," argued Dr. Henson, his voice raised just enough to draw attention. "Perhaps, but your caution is bordering on paranoia," retorted Dr. Sui, her hands clenched at her sides. Before the argument could escalate, Dr. Ivanov intervened. "Let's take a step back," he suggested calmly. "Remember, we're all on the same team with the same goal. Let's review the data together." These moments of tension were offset by periods of camaraderie. Shared meals in the communal area were times for laughter and storytelling. Captain Vasquez made it a point to join different groups at meals, her presence a reassuring constant. One evening, as the crew gathered, Captain Vasquez raised her glass. "To the Voyant," she said, her voice carrying through the room. "May she carry us safely to Arcadia." "To Arcadia," the crew echoed, their glasses clinking in the dim light, a small symphony of hope amidst the vast silence of space. As the echoes of their hopeful toast faded into the silence of the Voyant's dining hall, the crew members dispersed, each lost in their own thoughts about the journey ahead. The camaraderie of the moment was a brief respite from the underlying tensions that had begun to simmer beneath the surface. Little did they know, the fabric of their mission was about to unravel, revealing a truth that would test the very essence of their resolve and unity. The following day, as the routine of space travel resumed, the tranquility of the starship Voyant was shattered when Dr. Liam Zhang, while attempting to access his own research data, stumbled upon a set of heavily encrypted files mistakenly linked to his directory. Curiosity piqued, he managed to bypass the encryption, revealing a trove of classified mission files. The documents contained shocking revelations. Arcadia, their destination, might not be habitable. The files suggested that the mission could be a facade, possibly designed to give hope to a dying Earth without a real solution. Liam sat back, stunned. The weight of the discovery bore down on him. After a moment of internal conflict, he decided to share the information with Captain Vasquez. "Elena, we need to talk. It's urgent." Liam's voice was tense as he approached her in the command module. "What's wrong?" Elena asked, noting his pale face. "It's about Arcadia." "I don't think it's what we think it is," Liam confessed, handing her the tablet with the open files. The revelation spread quickly among the crew, each member reacting differently. Maya Patel felt betrayed, her technical mind struggling to accept the deceit. Dr. Alexei Ivanov saw the psychological implications, worrying about the crew's morale and mental health. The once cohesive crew found themselves embroiled in heated debates. Some argued they should continue as planned, clinging to hope, while others felt they should confront Earth Command directly, demanding transparency and possibly turning the ship around. In the midst of this turmoil, a heated exchange unfolded in the communal area. "We've been lied to. How can we just continue on like nothing's wrong?" Maya argued passionately. Dr. Ivanov interjected, trying to maintain peace. "We need to think this through rationally. There are billions of lives back on Earth watching and depending on us." "But what are we leading them to? A dead planet?" Maya countered, her voice rising. Captain Vasquez, who had been listening quietly, finally spoke. "Our first duty is to the truth, to ourselves and to the people back home. We need to verify these files first." "Liam, I want you and your team to double-check every piece of data related to Arcadia's habitability." The crew agreed reluctantly, the atmosphere tense with uncertainty. As they dispersed, the weight of their new reality hung heavily in the air. The mission had changed, and so had their destinies. They were no longer just voyagers. They were now guardians of a potentially devastating truth. As the debates raged on, the crew of the Voyant found themselves at a crossroads. The discovery of the classified files had cast a long shadow over their mission, and now they faced a decision that would define their legacy. Captain Vasquez called for a meeting, understanding the gravity of the moment. "We stand at a juncture," she began, her voice echoing in the silent room. "Do we continue to Arcadia, knowing what we know? Or do we attempt the perilous journey back to Earth with our limited resources?" The room was tense, the weight of the decision palpable. Dr. Zhang, always the optimist, spoke first. "We've come this far for a reason. Turning back now would mean giving up on not just our mission, but on the hope of finding a new home for humanity." Maya Patel, however, voiced the concerns of many. "But what if Arcadia is uninhabitable? We'd be leading humanity into a dead end. Perhaps it's our duty to return and share what we've discovered." The debate continued, with each crew member wrestling with their conscience. It was during this heated discussion that Araya, the ship's AI, sounded an alarm. "Meteor storm detected on a collision course with the Voyant," it announced, its voice calm amidst the rising panic. The external crisis forced the crew's hand. The theoretical debates were suddenly overshadowed by the immediate physical danger. Captain Vasquez took command, her voice cutting through the chaos. "All hands to your stations. This is not a drill. We need to work together to get through this." As the meteor storm approached, the crew set aside their disagreements. Maya Patel and her engineering team worked feverishly to reinforce the ship's shields, while Dr. Zhang and his scientists calculated the trajectory of the incoming meteors, directing the pilots on evasive maneuvers. Dr. Ivanov provided support, helping the crew manage the stress and fear of the imminent threat. The storm was relentless, a barrage of cosmic fury that tested the limits of the Voyant's defenses. A particularly large meteor struck the ship, causing significant damage to one of the life support systems. The impact sent a shudder through the vessel, a stark reminder of the fragility of their existence in the vastness of space. In the aftermath of the storm, the crew emerged shaken but unbroken. The crisis had brought them together, a united front facing the unknown. Captain Vasquez addressed her crew, her voice steady. "We've survived the storm, but our journey is far from over. We need to make a decision, and we need to make it together." The debate resumed, but with a newfound sense of urgency and camaraderie. In the end, the crew decided to continue to Arcadia. The risks were high, but the potential reward, a new home for humanity, was worth the gamble. In the wake of their decision to press on to Arcadia, the crew of the Voyant rallied around their shared mission with a renewed sense of purpose. The meteor storm had left its mark, both physically on the ship and emotionally on its inhabitants. But it had also galvanized them, forging a unity that had been tested but not broken. The damage to the Voyant was severe, with critical systems compromised and resources significantly depleted. The situation was dire, and the path forward fraught with uncertainty. Captain Vasquez convened a meeting with her senior crew, Dr. Liam Zhang, Maya Patel, and Dr. Alexei Ivanov, to strategize their approach to Arcadia. "We have one shot at this," she stated, her gaze sweeping across the faces of her team. "Our approach and landing on Arcadia will be the most challenging maneuver we've ever attempted. But I believe in this crew, and I believe in our mission." Maya Patel, her face etched with the fatigue of endless repairs, nodded. "The damage from the storm has compromised our landing systems. It's going to take everything we've got to manually guide the Voyant down." Dr. Zhang added, "And once we're there, we'll need to assess Arcadia's environment quickly. We knew it would be challenging, but we're going in with less than we hoped for. Dr. Ivanov, ever the voice of reason, spoke up. Let's not forget why we're doing this. For hope. For a future. We'll need to rely on each other more than ever. The descent to Arcadia was tense, with every crew member playing a crucial role. Captain Vasquez and her pilots navigated the Voyant through Arcadia's turbulent atmosphere, while Maya and her engineering team manually adjusted the ship's thrusters to compensate for the damaged landing systems. The entire crew held their breath as the ship shuddered and groaned, but through skill, determination, and no small amount of luck, the Voyant touched down on Arcadia's surface. The moment of landing was met with a mix of relief and apprehension. The crew had arrived on Arcadia, but what awaited them outside the ship was unknown. Initial scans confirmed their fears. Arcadia was hostile, with a thin atmosphere and extreme temperatures. However, the scans also revealed something unexpected: signs of water, ice beneath the surface, and a composition of soil that, with effort, could be terraformed. This changes everything, Dr. Zhang said, his voice filled with a cautious optimism. Arcadia isn't welcoming, but it's not a dead end. With terraforming, we could make this place a home. The revelation sparked a new energy among the crew. Despite the harsh conditions, they had a purpose. The tasks ahead were daunting: setting up a habitable base, beginning the long process of terraforming, and ensuring their survival. But for the first time since leaving Earth, there was a tangible sense of hope. As they began the arduous work of establishing their presence on Arcadia, the crew reflected on their journey. They had faced deception, danger, and the very real possibility of failure. Yet, they had also found strength in their unity, resilience in the face of adversity, and a renewed commitment to their mission. The legacy of the Voyant and its crew would be one of bravery, determination, and the indomitable human spirit. Back on Earth, their story became a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, humanity could find a way to persevere and thrive. The settlement on Arcadia was just the beginning. It was a testament to what could be achieved when humanity came together, faced the unknown, and dared to dream of a new home among the stars.